The tension between the two biggest powers in the world will reach a turning point. The United States is rumored to be issuing weapons and new strategies to release military weapons with China. During the last few resolutions, the Chinese compilation strengthened their weapons. Now that it has eliminated the control agreement governing the Cold War period, the Donald Trump administration plans to deploy long-range cruise missiles in the Asia-Pacific region, based on a budget request for 2021 that requested the White House and military testimony in Congress last March. The Pentagon wants to support their Marines with Tomahawk cruise missiles now carried by U.S. battleships. Also, for the first time in recent periods, the Pentagon wants to speed up the delivery of anti-ship long-range missiles. Beijing has agreed to this U.S. move, asking Washington to be careful in words and actions, stop moving chess pieces in the region and discuss military muscle around China. Agreed. China, received by Reuters news agency, UI. This Uncle Sam's country step supports the bamboo curtain country revenge on land missiles and ballistic missiles. The Pentagon also wants to defeat China in what experts call long-distance wars. The Chinese People's Liberation Army (PLA) has built an enormous missile force. According to one senior commander and U.S. defense strategy, the Chinese long-range combat forces are far superior to the U.S. allies in the region. He said China was clearly superior in long-range weapons. The U.S. will also drastically change its battle, allowing the Marines to join the Navy in battleships. Ships and car units of U.S. Marines armed with anti-ship missiles will be deadly. This senior commander said in the conflict units that these units would scatter to major points in the Western Pacific and the region known as the Island Chain. The series of islands from the Japanese archipelago, through Taiwan, the Philippines to Kalimantan and then closed around the coast of China. In a series of meetings, the U.S. military commander explained the new tactics to Congress last March. On March 5, the U.S. Marine Corps Commander General David Berger explained to the Senate Armed Services Committee, small Marine units armed with missiles could help the Navy increase their power at sea, especially in the Western Pacific. The Tomahawk missile is one of the tools that allows us to do that, General Berger said. Tomahawk became very famous after being launched in the Gulf War in 1991. For decades the missiles were carried by U.S. warships and used to attack targets on land. In his testimony at the Congress, one of the U.S. military commanders said that during 2022 the U.S. Marines would test cruise missiles that would be used in operations the following year. Initially, a number of cruise missiles will not change the balance of world power. But U.S. strategists say this is a strong political signal Washington is preparing to compete with China in large arms. They said that if these weapons were combined with those of Japan and Taiwan they could be a threat to China. The biggest threat to the PLA is anti-ship long-range missiles, which are now strengthening U.S. Navy and aircraft. America will be strong again. In 2024 or 2025 there will be a serious threat to the PLA that their military development will be obsolete, said former Australian defense advisor and now researcher at the Centre for Strategic and Budgetary Assessments think tank, Ross Babbage. The U.S. military is deploying a number of new weapons and the latest strategies to overcome the superiority of Chinese missiles in the Pacific region. The Pentagon will deploy a new type of Tomahawk missile to strengthen its marine forces and warships. The U.S. military has also accelerated the deployment of long-range anti-ship missiles over the past few decades, Reuters reported. Problem is, the Chinese government asks Washington to be careful in words and actions, and stop moving chess pieces in this region, the Chinese government told Reuters. Stop tightening military muscles around China. The Chinese military, or the Chinese People's Liberation Army, has built a very large number of missile forces, and can defeat the reach of U.S. and allied countries' military missiles.